So, 2 years ago, before all this, and this, and this, I had the amazing opportunity to go to Japan for my 21st birthday with my boyfriend Russ, and I wanted to share it. The trip had immense planning behind it, which I mostly did by myself. So naturally, I started by making a big master plan to organize the trip. For some reason, I thought it would be a good idea just to walk everywhere we wanted to go. We had a morning flight from England, and I knew by the time we got to Japan, it would be the very start of the morning again. So it was pretty crazy to miss an entire day. Russ was fascinated by being on a long-haul flight. The movies, games, and plane food were all new experiences for him. I found it funny to just watch him filming and taking photos of it all. Eventually, we got to Japan, and the first thing I noticed was the immense heat. Now, I don't do well in heat. I turn into a puddle. It was around the end of summer, but I didn't realize how toasty it would actually be. So being dropped off by the bus in the center of Tokyo with your bags was very scary. We did somehow manage to find the hotel though, with the help of our lovely GPS app. The hotel was lovely and modern, but as soon as I got to sit down in reception, a wave of sickness and tiredness washed over me, and I almost fell asleep in the comfy chair. I was thankful to have Russ there with me because he took on the adult role and got us checked into our room. Once I was able to have a short lounge around in the room, I felt more prepared for this crazy new place. I planned out some activities for the first day, but even that felt like too much when we were there. So instead, we had a small wander around to explore the area and to try and get our bearings. Day 2 was a lot more action-packed. We went to the largest shrine in Tokyo, the Meiji Shrine. The entrance was crazy. It was a huge spirit gate. Just standing by it made you feel small and insignificant. We saw people bowing at the gate before they entered, so we wanted to join in and be respectful. As you went through the gate, you were in a dense forest, even though when you looked behind you, you could still see the bustling city of Tokyo. But this forest felt mystical and like something from a Ghibli movie. Eventually, we got to the main shrine area. There was a tourist group with a guide who was showing them around, so we decided just to follow them about, learning all the facts about the place. There was a little washing area which you could wash your hands and face in before entering the shrine. The instructions were quite complicated, but I tried to follow them as best I could.
The instructions weren't that complicated. They did have it translated into English, and it did say at the very bottom, do not drink the water.
Well, I did end up drinking the water when you were meant to spit it out. Because I thought spitting it out just seemed disrespectful, right? The inside of the shrine was awesome though. We put some money in a box and got a poem for each of us written by an ancient emperor and empress. There was also a cute little shop selling charms and tokens, each with their own unique properties, to ward off evil or to just help you with your exams. After getting our little trinkets, we headed out. We then set off walking to Harajuku. I am pretty useless with walking though. I have no idea why past me thought I was able to do this, because I have the walking capability of an egg. So during this 2-hour walk in the blistering heat, I was having to stop every 10 minutes to sit until my legs recovered again. Despite my complaining, it was a pretty amazing walk. We went through lots of residential areas, and it was great to see the side of Japan where people would actually be living. Eventually, we made it to Harajuku, but I was shattered. We had plans to visit lots of cute cafes with these crazy treats and desserts, but I really didn't want to eat sugary food because I was always feeling sick and tired from the jet lag. Saying that, I did get a cute bird ice cream, but it was more like a fruity sorbet, so that's basically one of your 5 a day, right? Even though we spent the first part of the day at the shrine, and then walked 2 hours to get here, The shops still weren't open yet. But hey, that's jet lag for you. We found a nearby park with small ponds, and I thought this would be the perfect place to rest in. The rest really helped me recover. I felt like a brand new egg, ready to start the day. After I was re-energized, I actually got to look around the area and found that the park was inhabited by birds. Monster birds. They were the size of ravens, but they were actually a type of crow, and they were everywhere. I could have literally watched them for hours. Alas, Ross dragged me away from the birds because we had the rest of Japan to explore. Eventually, it was time to head back to the hotel, but there was no way I was going to do that 2-hour walk again. We had to take the train, but it was actually really easy and great. It took us like 30 minutes to get home, and we could also see most of our walking journey from the train. Needless to say, it was very painful to see all the places I had to stop at thinking I was going to die. In the evening, I loved getting dinner from the vending machines in the hotel lobby. It was so fun and futuristic. I very quickly discovered an ice cream vending machine that would give me ice cream in a squeezy bottle, and I was obsessed with it. After every day out, I would come back and get my squeezy ice cream and just sit in the room with it to relax. Day 3, we had to go out and do a bit of shopping for some cereal and things like that. Apparently, it's very hard to find cereal in Japan, but eventually we found some anime cereal, so that had to do. We came back for a short rest before starting the day properly, and I turned to talk to Russ, but I found him fast asleep in all his clothes, so I just had to accept this and wait around on my phone while the baby had his sleep. Later on, we were up and moving. We went to these stunning gardens in the heart of the city. Everything was precisely perfect. The grass and trees impeccably groomed, and a huge lake in the center of it all. They even had moon bridges that were so curved it looked like there was no possible way to get over them. Now you might think the nature sounds were equally as peaceful, but no. The garden was basically infested with cicadas, and my god, it was deafening. You could hardly see them, but they were all hidden away on the trees. But after our lovely garden time, we went to Akihabara, which is the anime and gaming district of Japan. Ross very excitedly bought a load of anime figures.
So I got Rem from ReZero. She's in a bikini. That's very nice. Very mwah. And then we've also got Ram. She's from ReZero, actually a twin of the other one. They do look a bit similar, just different hair. And she's in like a little Red Riding Hood outfit. That's very nice. And then we've got Sinon here, and she's a cat girl. And she's also in some kind of beachwear. So, you know, very high quality finds, I think. Back to you, Cloud.
Well, I did my research beforehand and knew that there was a shop that sold exactly what I was looking for. The only place in the world that you can find these figures. Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is a great game franchise because it has amazing looking dragons in it. That's all I need to be sold on a game, really. I got lots of mini figures from the shop, but there were all these large figures too, and I really wanted all of them. But I knew they wouldn't all fit in my suitcase going home, so I had to only choose one. He's back with me and he lives a happy life on the windowsill at home. Day 4 started off with a bit of a rest because we were both quite pooped. We then hopped on another train and we were going on a very special day out that I planned. Something that I didn't give Ross much info on because the surprise would be worth it. When we got to our station, there was a mini shopping area by the harbour, and it was quite peaceful really. By the station exit, I found a whole area dedicated to these large sculptures that were also blowing loads of cool mist out of them. I was absolutely loving it. I had no shame in running from the station exit all the way to the mist and just sitting in it, because it was a very hot day after all. Finally, we got to the place we were looking for. We were at Team Lab Borderless, a type of museum known for its colourful, futuristic digital art installations. Once you were inside, It was crazy. It was completely dark. And the only light was from massive projections of semi-abstract art around the walls. The projections were always moving and changing. We were told that you had to circle around the exhibits several times because there would be new things happening and new projections to be seen. There were several exhibits you could explore. A flower room with changing flower patterns and vines on the wall. A walkthrough with thin strips of light that looked like rain or some kind of weird vortex. A place full of giant foam lily pads for you to wade through. A section of hanging lanterns with mirrors on every wall, which gives the illusion of infinite floating lanterns. And a place called the Nest, which was a giant net that you went and laid down on, and projections of birds and butterflies went all around you. It was just so surreal being there. With the musical soundscapes and projections, it was so easy to feel like you were in a different world. We took loads of photos and just generally spaced out and enjoyed the scenery. Eventually, we had to leave, but needless to say, upon exiting the museum, you look like a blind mole that's been underground for the past few months. It took a while for us to adjust. We went and had lunch in the nearby shopping centre. I was very quick to notice a pet shop full of bundles of fluff, aka puppies and kittens. It did look like they were being cared for well. I was just a total mess upon entering. It was way too much for me to handle. The shop next door sold all kinds of pet stuff, and it had a massive section of clothes that you could dress up your doggo in. There were also these pushchairs you could get just for doggies. I know my lazy dog would have loved that. Day 5, we were off to the Pokemon Center, because we both love Pokemon. Even though we mastered the trains of Tokyo, for some ungodly reason, I decided, hey, let's just walk there. I can't believe I made this mistake again. It was a tough walk. However, we did see some good sights along the way. There was a little stream which was like an installation in the city. I decided this was the perfect place to sit down and dip my feeties in it. Finally, we got to the Pokemon Center. There was nearly every plushie and branded merch you could think of. You had to have a lot of self-control to not just buy everything. There was a desk at the front of the shop with a large sign behind it saying, "Is it your birthday? If it is your birthday month, then come over and get some goodies." So we went on over, hesitantly, assuming this was something for small children. And I explained it was my birthday in a few days. He gave me a special pop-up Pokemon birthday card and a choice of a birthday Pokemon crown. There was a Mew one and a Pikachu one. I got the Mew one, and the man asked if it was Ross's birthday too. He said no, but the man offered him a crown anyway. So off we went around the centre with my special crown on, and Ross too. Whenever a member of staff saw you, they stopped and said happy birthday and clapped for you. After we had gathered every plushie that we needed, we made our way back to the hotel. The next day was our last full day in Japan, and early tomorrow morning, we'd be on the flight back home again. We went and spent some time in the local arcades around the hotel, mainly to get rid of small change that we had. I love arcades, so it was extremely hard not to spend hours getting all the plushies I wanted. I had already set my sights on a bright yellow doggy with a lemon bandana. We spent a while trying to get him, and in the end, Russ got the crucial grip on him, and I was proudly carrying him around for the rest of the day. We went out in the evening to get some food, and found a fun little restaurant which had a lot of rice and noodle dishes. We went in to find a seat, and the server had a mini walkie-talkie which would translate English into Japanese for him. He would just hold it up to us as we made our order. It was super nice eating out like that, and getting an authentic Japanese meal. We had a great time in Japan, and there was a lot we still didn't do because we never ventured out of the main city. But maybe one day we'll get to go again. Thanks for watching, everyone. This video was definitely one of my most ambitious yet. There was a lot that happened during our trip, so I tried to squeeze in as much of it as I possibly could. And a special thanks to Ross for coming in and giving his opinions on the trip. He's been streaming a lot recently, and you can find him on twitch.tv/SerberRossArt, and I've been guest starring in some of his streams as well. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!